morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Dhakal. The top stories first. Government confirms 170 new cases of coronavirus. The deadly disease has claimed 6 lives in the country so far. Foreign Minister says attempts made to resolve border dispute. Government waiting for India's response. High-level committee recommends evacuation of Nepalese stranded in foreign countries, identifies 20 transit points to allow citizens enter through land route. Twitter hides Trump's tweet, accuses the US president of glorifying violence. And Federer becomes world's highest paid athlete. Coronavirus takes toll on footballers' earnings. And now the news in detail. Coronavirus has claimed 6 lives in the country so far. A 35-year-old man infected with coronavirus died upon his return to Nepal from India recently. The victim, originally from Arghakhachi, had entered Nepal from India last week. His swab samples tested positive for coronavirus, according to spokesperson at the Health Ministry, Vikas Devkota. With this, the death toll from coronavirus has reached 6 in the country. The deceased is a resident of Bhumikasthan municipality of Arghakhachi district. Health authorities are collecting samples of all the persons with whom the victim had come in contact with.
एउटा दुखद खबर भूमिकास्थान नगरपालिका अर्घाखाँचीका 35 वर्षीय पुरुष जसको गैराती गत जेठ 10 गते मृत्यु भएको थियो.
Meanwhile, the government confirmed 170 new cases of coronavirus yesterday. According to the ministry, 56 new cases were confirmed in Rautahar, followed by 51 in Kapilvastu, 28 in Chapa and 10 in Baake. Likewise, Parsa and Sarlahi reported 5 cases each, while the number of infection in Saptari and Bara was 4 each. Similarly, Dang and Nawalparasi reported 2 new cases each, while 1 new case was reported in Myagdi, Rupandehi and Lalitpur districts. Among the newly infected persons, 165 are male and 5 are female. The total number of reported cases stood at 1,212. As of Friday evening, 206 persons have returned home after recovery, the ministry informed.
नयाँ संक्रमितको संख्या 170 रहेको छ, जसमध्ये 165 जना पुरुष र 5 जना महिला हुनुहुन्छ.
Altogether, 99,336 persons have been kept in quarantine across the country. Likewise, more than 1,000 persons are undergoing treatment in isolation wards in various hospitals. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Pradeep Gewali, has said that the government is making efforts to resolve the border dispute with India. He, however, said that no date has yet been fixed to sit for talks with India to sort out the issue. Foreign Minister Gewali said that the date for official talks with India and the modality have not been fixed yet. He said so while replying to queries of lawmakers at the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee of Parliament yesterday. The minister said that although India has said it will not accept the map unveiled by Nepal and that the issue would be resolved through diplomacy, it has not decided the date to sit for talks. He said that the government is awaiting for response from India.
तर हामी निरन्तर टचमा चाहिँ छौं. म यति मात्रै निवेदन गर्न चाहे. भूमि फिर्ता गर्ने गरी नै हामीले यी सबै कुराहरू गरेका हौं र वार्ता हामीले गर्छौं. हामीले प्रतीक्षा गरिरहेका छौं वार्ताको औपचारिक डेटको.
Foreign Minister Gewali reiterated that the government is committed to seek a solution to the problem through dialogue. Minister Gewali further said that the government was making resolute efforts to bring back the land encroached by India at a time when the whole nation has shown unity. He also urged the lawmakers not to doubt the intention of the government. The lawmakers urged the government to be more serious about this issue. The State Affairs and Good Governance Committee of Parliament has directed the government to remove the physical infrastructure built on the no man's land. The committee yesterday issued an order to the government to immediately remove structures such as settlements, dams and embankments built against the international norms and standard along Nepal-India border. The House panel had called a meeting yesterday to discuss the issue of border dispute with India. The committee has also instructed the government to erect border pillars itself near the big rivers in the border areas. Currently, India has been assigned to set up border pillars in places where big rivers flow between the two countries. However, India has not built the border pillars as per the agreement reached between the two sides. Therefore, the committee has asked the government to complete the task on its own. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government has decided to bring back its citizens stranded abroad on priority basis. The High-Level Coordination Committee for the Prevention and Control of Coronavirus took such a decision during yesterday's meeting. The Secretary at the Prime Minister's Office, Narayan Prasad Bidari, informed that Nepali nationals who have received a legal pardon and those who have to perform the last rites of their kin in Nepal will be brought back home. Similarly, Nepali nationals who have lost their jobs, those with other forms of disease except coronavirus, pregnant women, children, senior citizens and differently abled people will also be brought back to Nepal. The government will use the national flag carrier and other airlines companies to bring these people back to Nepal after receiving information about the stranded Nepalese.
श्रम करार अवधि समाप्त भएका र रोजगारी गुमाएका व्यक्तिहरू, कोभिड बाहेक अन्य कारणबाट गम्भीर स्वास्थ्य अवस्थामा रहनुभएकाहरू, सुत्केरी तथा गर्भवती महिला, बालबालिका, ज्येष्ठ नागरिक र अपाङ्गता भएका व्यक्तिहरू, हाम्रो तत्तत मुलुकका कूटनैतिक नियोगहरू हाम्रो एम्बेसीहरूमा उहाँहरूले आफ्नो एप्लिकेसन फर्म विवरणहरू दिनुहुन्छ। त्यसको लिस्ट तयार हुन्छ। त्यसलाई नेपाली वायु सेवा निगम वा नेपालका वायु सेवा निगम priority दिइनेछ।
The government has also identified special entry points across the border from where the Nepali nationals living in India can return back to Nepal. Pashupati Nagar, Kakarbhitta, Rani, Sunauli, Tani, Madar, Malangwa, Gaur, Birganj, Maheshpur, Belaiya, Tauriawa, Krishnanagar, Jamuna, Gauri Fata, Gadda Chauki, Julafat and Darchula are the specified entry points, Bidari informed. The Quarantine Monitoring and Facilitation Committee has advised the government to use hotels as quarantine facilities. The committee submitted a report to the government stating that hotels, resorts, lodges, homestays can be used as quarantine facilities. The Urban Development State Minister Rambir Manandar informed that all Nepali nationals brought from third countries can be categorized and charged a nominal fee to remain in quarantine facilities. The Secretary of the Ministry, Navaraj Pyakurel, said that federal government support is indispensable to bring back the Nepali nationals from the border points. Pyakurel further informed that the responsibility of primary health check and rehabilitation of the people entering Nepal will be taken by the provincial government, while the cost of operating the quarantine facilities should be divided between the local, provincial and federal government at the rate of 25% and 50% respectively. The government had given the responsibility of monitoring and facilitation of the quarantine facility to Health and Population State Minister and Urban Development State Minister on March 29th. The two state ministers presented their report to the cabinet yesterday. And now the news from the economic front. The farmers in Bara district have been delivering their produce directly to people's home as the lockdown has stopped the operation of the weekly market known as Hat Bazaar. Since the lockdown began, people stopped leaving their houses to go to the market to buy everyday vegetables. However, this has not stopped the farmers from from reaching at each household to sell their vegetables, farmed fishes among other items. The farmers have also been able to get better rates for their produce because of the elimination of the middlemen. With a little extra effort, the farmers have been able to sell their produce at the right price, while the everyday consumers are also being benefited. After the government eased the grip of lockdown on selling vegetables, there has been active transport of local produce in Simara, Pathalaya, Jitpur, Nijgarh, Dumarbana, Amlekganj, among other areas. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Twitter hid a tweet by US President Donald Trump warning him for the first time on Friday, Reuters reported. According to the news agency, Twitter had accused Trump of breaking its rules by glorifying violence in a message that said looters at protest in Minneapolis would be shot. Twitter's decision to step in escalates a feud between Trump and tech companies. It came hours after Trump signed an executive order threatening Silicon Valley's social media firms with new free speech regulations. The order was signed amid a fight with Twitter after the company added a fact-checking tag to his tweets this week about unsubstantiated claims of fraud in mail in voting. It also comes at a time of racially charged civil unrest in cities across the United States over the death of George Floyd. The black man was seen on video gasping for breath while a white police officer knelt on his neck. Trump's tweet, labeled by Twitter, read, "These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty and we will assume control, but when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you." Trump has more than 80 million followers on Twitter. An invasion of locusts has spread across Pakistan, AP reported. According to officials, the invasion has caused damage to crops and orchards and poses a threat to food security in the impoverished Islamic nation already struggling to tackle a virus pandemic that has caused more than 1,300 deaths. Massive swarms of the desert locust, which experts say originates in Africa and is the most destructive of the locust species, began damaging crops in Pakistan last month. But the situation worsened this week and authorities began dispatching aircraft and spraying machines filled with pesticides mounted on vehicles to eliminate the insects. The locusts have also brought agricultural destruction to neighboring India, where critics pointed the finger at Pakistan as a new breeding ground for the desert locusts. Pakistani officials said no country should blame another for the situation, but all affected countries need to make collective efforts to prevent a possible food crisis in the region. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Roger Federer is the first tennis player to top the annual Forbes list of the world's highest paid athletes, overtaking footballer Lionel Messi. According to the BBC, 38-year-old Federer moved up 4 places after earning £86.2 million in the past year, about £81 million ahead of it in endorsements. Cristiano Ronaldo with £85 million, Messi with 84, Neymar with £77.5 million came next, with American basketball player LeBron James with £71.5 million. Japanese tennis player Naomi Osaka was revealed to be the highest paid female athlete earlier this month. She is 29th overall on the list, which was released on Friday. The coronavirus pandemic triggered salary cuts for soccer stars Messi and Ronaldo, clearing the way for a tennis player to rank as the world's highest paid athlete for the first time, said Kurt Badenhausen, senior editor at Forbes. The FA Cup final will be held on August 1st, the Football Association of Britain announced on Friday. The English Premier League had announced a day earlier that its season will restart on June 17th. According to Reuters, the quarter-finals of the FA Cup will be held over the weekend of June 27-28, with the semi-finals set for the weekend of July 18-19. The knockout competition, like the rest of English football, had been put on hold due to the coronavirus pandemic. The FA said that the dates for the games, which will be played behind closed doors, were provisional and dependent on all safety elements being in place for the games. Leicester City faces Chelsea, while Newcastle United takes on Manchester City in the FA Cup quarter-finals originally drawn on March the 4th. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Government confirms 170 new cases of coronavirus. The deadly disease has claimed 6 lives in the country so far. Foreign Minister says attempts made to resolve border dispute, government waiting for India's response. High-level committee recommends evacuation of Nepalese stranded in foreign countries, identifies 20 transit points to allow its citizens via land route. Twitter hides Trump's tweet, accuses the US president of glorifying violence. And Federer becomes world's highest paid athlete. Coronavirus takes toll on footballers' earnings. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website JanataSamachar.com. We urge all our viewers to follow government directives of the lockdown and follow healthy, hygienic practices to keep safe from any infection. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.